Good evening. Welcome to a Boob Tube Betties podcast. We are your Boob Tube Betties. I'm Bethany.
And I am Kristin.
We are reviewing American Horror Story Season 6, and tonight, Chapter 5. Firstly, please, pretty please, go to iTunes, give us a review. It would just be the tits if you could help us out with that. Also, follow the Boob Tube Buddies on Facebook, Reddit, Instagram, Twitter. Send any questions, comments, etc. to boobtubebuddies@gmail.com. I promise we will answer your question, and we will do it live on the podcast. And check out our new website, boobtubebuddies.com. And you can access all the Boob Tube Buddies different podcasts. So right now, what we've got going on, of course, is American Horror Story, but they're also reviewing Luke Cage, Westworld, and also we've got Stranger Things on there, Outcast, The Get Down, Preacher, various movie reviews as well. I think I'm forgetting some things. But anyway, and Adam and I just started reviewing Divorce, the new show on HBO. Not the process of getting one. And it's SJP's return to HBO since Sex and the City. We just thought it would be really healthy to talk about divorce every week together.
OMG.
So lots of fun.
Yes.
What do you got, Chris?
Well, I did want to toot my horn a little bit. The moment we saw, I'm going to fast forward a little bit here through the episode just for 2 seconds. And the moment we saw Edward Philippe Mott go through those sheets and the fact that they stayed at a hotel at some point really points to Season 5, Hotel. And this is Chapter 5, going along with the theory that each episode of this season correlates with the season that it is. Chapter 1, Season 1, Chapter 2, Season 2. So we saw a couple different things. I think I scared my husband last night when he started ripping through the sheets. I was like, hotel! There it is! So I was really excited about that.
I'm so glad you said that, because I was going to bring up that we had mentioned last week, we talked about ties to Season 5, and I didn't actually, this is how dumb I am, I didn't really notice any, but now that you, of course, now that you say that.
When they put the sheet over him, yes, and he just rips through it.
But I was like, God, I'm sure that she will have noticed a million things, because
I was waiting for it. I was like, come on, show me something.
I was too. I'm an idiot, but I'm so glad that you said that, because I'm like, I know she'll have noticed it.
And then
that was my throat. I'm so sorry.
That was great. And then also at the end, the very blatant, the only time they're like pretty much out of the house, they stay at a hotel. So
yes.
So there's kind of like a hidden one, and then kind of like a very in your face. But the one thing I really do want to talk about is last week I had mentioned something about possibly each episode 6 from each season also having ties with all of Season 6, and I went back like I said I wanted to. And
did you really?
Yes.
Good for you.
I have to have things to watch, so I was like, you know what? I'll rewatch all the episode 6s of each season.
You're the best.
So, but get this, I really wanted to text you right away from the start, because guess what episode 6 of Season 1 is?
No.
Piggy Man.
Really?
Yep. And then
wow.
Yeah. And then Season 2, Episode 6 is where they introduce that creepy little girl that brings her friend out to the woods and ends up killing her. It's far back. I almost even forgot, but when I rewatched it. But if you notice, little girl brought her out to the woods. Uh-huh. Priscilla in Episode 2 brings Flora out to the woods. Uh-huh. Okay, so Episode 3, Cricket does a seance. And in Episode 6 of Season 3, they do a seance to get the Axeman to come forward. So seances in both episodes.
I don't mean to stop you. Yeah. I'm going to stop you.
Go for it. I don't mean to stop you, but I'm going to.
I'm going to.
Stop.
When you think about how braided, I know that's not the term I really want, but
how entangled
how much thought
it is. Yes.
and intent is put into the writing in
That's why I
plot
really wanted to
design.
go back, because I was like, this is going to be so cool if there is something there.
I think that if people knew that, and you wouldn't know that unless you did the research, and who wants to do that sort of research, but if you knew that, for me, it makes the show so much better. Mm-hmm. So I feel I'm a little biased now just from pretty much the information you have given me. It's all lies, the show seem so much smarter.
My plan is working.
Whatever goes on in the show, just knowing how much thought went into it makes it so much better.
Like there's a reason for things.
Right. So my whole thing, like, this is silly. It's really not silly because
ultimately they're tying it together.
Yes, exactly.
So chapter 4, that is the episode that Gloria Mott gives kind of a very quick history of the Motts. And in episode 4, Edward Philippe Mott is mentioned. Now, episode 5 was called episode 6. I need to start over. Episode 6 in season 5 was called Room 33. Now, the thing that ties that together is in that episode, there was a failed attempt to murder some children. And ultimately, that's the very thing that allowed them to leave the house in last night's episode. So that's what could tie it together. Also, in Room 33, we see Lady Gaga, or the Countess's demonic child. Right? That's where we see that baby in the crib, which we'll get back to later because I have some scary thoughts on that.
Okay.
Really scary thoughts, personally.
I'm like, could it please be Shelby's baby? Could we get there, please?
Okay, so I'll just go ahead and say it then.
Okay.
My biggest fear for you is that you called the wrong woman's baby.
Oh, it's going to be Lady Gaga's baby.
Because she had sex with Matt.
God damn it. I thought about that too.
And as soon as I put that together, I'm like, oh, no, I think somebody might get pregnant, but I don't think it's Shelby.
And honestly, with the first time they had sex, that thought ran through my head like, oh, God, why didn't I include somebody gets pregnant? But it's too late.
And then I was
Hindsight's
talking.
2020.
Yeah, well, because I was talking to my husband, and he said, I don't think there's any actual meat in pigtails. I think it's just cartilage.
No, that is wrong, by the way.
Really?
Yes. My dad has had, we were talking about it today.
Okay.
He has eaten pigtail.
Oh, good.
And he said it was good.
Okay.
He said it was good. And did you ever read Little House on the Prairie?
No.
Okay, we had to read it in school. I don't know.
Oh, I might have read it in school. I don't know.
But one of the stories in the books, the two younger sisters, they would fight over the pigtail that roasted on the fire in the house. And for whatever reason, when I was younger, I'm like, that sounds really good, because they would talk about how salty it was, and they would fight over who got the pigtail.
So ultimately, we'll be the two little girls.
Yeah,
from Little House on the Prairie.
Yeah, Laura Ingalls.
Yep.
Yeah. So,
okay.
I'm trying to put a positive.
There's your real tie-in, guys. Little House on the Prairie meets American Horror Story.
Your husband is just trying to make us feel terrible and be mean about it.
But ultimately, he's going to be the one to cook it. So,
will he really? Will he?
I don't know. We'll see.
All right. Okay, so we get to this episode. Again, the show opens, same as it always does. You get little flashes and short, quick clips of what's to come in the episode.
Did you pay attention to any of it as soon as you saw Frances Conroy on the screen? Because I didn't. I got really excited.
You're really excited. And I know we'll get there, but she was awesome in this.
She was amazing.
Okay, so we get that, and then your first scene is an interview, the interview style, and you have Doris Kearns Goodwin, and they introduce...
She's an actual historian. She's not an actress.
I was going to say that.
So sorry. I got that information from Bethany.
Well, so she opens... I mean, anybody would know, because as soon as she starts talking, she's so dry, and I look at Adam like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This better be a real person. He's like, you better look that up, because...
Jay even said, he's like, she's acting too bad to actually be an actress.
Right. So she gives the info on the house and talks about how there was... She doesn't know about the joy or anything, but there was definitely plenty of suffering. Mm-hmm. And then you get introduced to Mott, to Edward Philippe Mott, who is the wonderful Evan Peters.
So finally. Exciting.
We've been waiting for him.
Yes. Oh, it was so good when I saw him on the screen.
Yes. And basically, he is bidding on artwork to put in his house that he builds with family money. And he walks into this, I don't know what it is, like art gallery or whatever.
It's like an auction.
Auction, yes. And he tells everyone to stop. He's buying all of it. And he's going to build a house in North Carolina away from everyone with family money that he has. And because he wants to live alone. And the historian basically describes it that in this day and age, they would have said that he had social anxiety. And really, he just wanted a house to live and to enjoy his artwork.
Yep, exactly.
And so, yes, the historian, this woman is a real person, Doris Kearns Goodwin. She's an American biographer, historian, and political commentator. Mm-hmm. He was married to another political figure.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Cool.
And she did porn in the late 70s.
Really?
No.
Oh, you should have just went with it.
I
would have believed you. Should have just fucking went with it because I would have believed you.
I don't know how she
it made
knows
that story so much better.
Brad or Ryan, but...
I mean, that's how she got on the show, you know? That casting couch.
Something got her on there.
So when he gets out to his new house, as historian Doris calls the Big Shaker Mansion at 900 Sapony Road, a handsome, strapping gentleman named Guinness comes to greet him, telling him that the building's coming along, but that the woods have deep roots.
Yes, I wrote that down too. And while the house is being built, all these peculiar accidents seem to happen. People getting hurt, people thinking they see things.
Mm-hmm. I mean, including the guy, like, falling off the building and breaking his leg.
His leg is just shattered. But yeah, go ahead.
And after his leg was broken and it pans back to Edward, he looks out in the forest, and my closed captioning said, inhumane growling he heard from the forest.
Closed captioning is what I should do.
It helps a lot.
Inhumane growling.
Yes.
Because you probably would have normally just said pig squeals.
They weren't pig squeals, though. I still stand by my pig squeals.
I know you do.
You know why.
Oh, I know you do. Okay, so his sexy lover, Guinness.
Yes.
And he kisses him so very passionately.
I know. Like, it was very, like...
staff.
I know. That was, like... It was just like, whoa, hey, okay.
Did we say yet that he's black? Because he's a sexy black man.
He is a sexy black man.
And Mott is this tiny little painted white man because he's got like all the rouge and the lip and the wig.
Gotta love that rouge.
Oh, I love the line that comes
Yes, I know.
But you find out that he has basically left his... Not basically, he has left his wife and kids behind in Philadelphia to have this secret hideaway.
Yeah, to be with his love and his art. He liked to rotate the artwork from room to room. He even demanded that one of the pieces be moved across from his favorite painting that he actually went to the lot for, which was the one by John Alden Peele, which I have an employee named Alden, so I know where that name came from now.
Oh.
He was obviously named after that artist.
Oh, really?
I hope so. That would be best, because
He's
right
like,
now I just call him Tandy.
My mom really liked Aldo shoes, and then they just added an N.
They just took out the O and added an E-N. But what's so funny is when he tells him to move the piece across from the Peel because he needs someone to talk to when they aren't here. And then all of a sudden he gives this like really weird sexual look to Guinness.
And Guinness was painting him, no?
Yeah, but I just love the look he gave him, like, ooh. Like, I can't describe it via podcast.
Very strange. Adam actually brought up a good point that I completely agree with, but he articulated it much better than I could. He was saying that with American Horror Story, we actually celebrate this, but they rotate the same actors. You see the same pool of actors in different seasons. Mm-hmm. That, honestly, you do start to just see them as the actor. Like, you look for... I mean, and we find ourselves saying it. We call them by the actors' names.
Yeah.
You start to see them just as the actor and maybe not necessarily as the particular character that they are playing for that season.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry.
She's got important business.
Oh, Adam's gonna kill me. Oh, God.
It's all good. I'll just keep going. Anyway.
Silence your phone.
I already did it, girl. Anyway, so it pans to them taking a bath together, and Edward was talking about how he thinks everyone judges them, and that he should just get rid of all of them except for him. And then Guinness says, well, I'd be working instead of playing with this.
Yeah, and like grabs his dick.
Totally grabs his dick. then he goes on to say how he's in love with his paintings even more than Guinness.
Yes, he's waxing on about his paintings, and he does say that, and Guinness tells him to basically shut up.
Yes.
And then he says, let's rouge each other's nipples.
The moment they said that, I'm like, oh, this is going to be one for us to talk about. I can't tell you how often I say that.
So what does that mean? Because it looked like he went off to... Correct me if I'm wrong. It looked like he went off to the side and grabbed something. So the second time I watched it, I thought, oh, because what I originally thought was like sucking on each other's nipples till they're red.
I think they just rouged them with actual rouge.
Yeah. What is that?
You know, I don't have an answer for you because I couldn't tell you.
It looks like Guinness grabs like a makeup palette and is going to rouge his nipples.
That's a lie. I can tell you. I do it every night. I make Jason do it all the time.
Well, I can see all of us girls doing that as some like... There's no way to make this sound normal.
Nope.
But can't you like some drunken night rouging each other's nipples?
I mean, I'm going to do it at some point in my life now that it's been brought to my brain.
I want to look that up, though. Is that some sort of thing that people do? Rouge each other's nipples?
I hope so.
I think it would.
What kind of world would we be living in if it wasn't a thing?
I'm going to start using it.
I don't want to live in that world.
No, I don't know.
The one thing I did find interesting is before they did that, and he was talking about how he loves his paintings
before
even more.
You look down at your nipples and you're like, yeah, they are kind of beige looking.
Yeah.
They would look better rougey.
My nipples could use a little bit of tanning up.
A little rouging.
Exactly. A little pinking. Edward says he loves his paintings more than he loves Guinness, but also says that he envies life in 2-dimension, frozen forever in beauty, which is ultimately screwed up because that's what he ends up being. Mm-hmm. Frozen forever in his beauty.
Yes, it's true.
So there's definitely some foreshadowing. And then Doris.
You know what I was thinking when he was going on and on about that? I found hard to write any of it down because it was so irritating. I pictured myself as Guinness. Mm-hmm. And I thinking like, oh, get over yourself, man.
Are we going to get to the rouging of the nipples or
what? Yeah,
let's
rouge each other's nipples and F each other's BHs.
Exactly. BHs? Oh, got it. Never mind. Yep. Jesus.
I would think you, if anyone, would know what that is. What would your
I call it an asshole.
Oh.
So.
We call it buttholes.
In this house, we're PG.
In this house, we call it buttholes. They're sleeping, of course, because people are always sleeping in this house when they hear things. Some sort of noise outside of the bedroom. Do you have more on that? I just
said it wasn't even 2 days before things started happening, Doris had said.
So, Mott comes out of the room to investigate, and immediately he's... Oh, and you hear... Oh, and there was a cleaver. Wasn't there a cleaver in the door, and you hear, like, a window crash? Anyway, he goes downstairs, and all of his paintings are destroyed.
The thing on the floor, though, was the same vase that had broken when Lee had entered that same room at the beginning of the season.
Oh, with Flora and the bonnet?
That thing on the floor was the same vase broken.
Oh, wow.
I was like, that was the exact same style. That's the one thing I noticed. And then, all of his paintings were ruined, including the peel.
Yes. And immediately Mott is yelling and accusing the servants of his household and who did it, and he's very aggressive, and one young girl just kind of breaks and says she saw, I thought she said a big white woman, but a white woman.
No, she said big woman.
Okay, a big woman and a young man in the house, and they quickly pan and you see it's obviously the butcher.
Yeah.
And her son Ambrosia. Whatever, what's his name?
No, change approved. It's Ambrose, but I like Ambrosia.
Okay,
nope, Ambrosia.
All I could think was Abner. I knew that wasn't right, and okay.
I like that too.
Abner,
you really screwed it up there. You really screwed the pooch there.
So Ambrosia and Thomason have clearly gone in the house and messed up the paintings.
Exactly.
But Mott is a nut job, doesn't believe any of them, and locks them all in that cellar that Dr. Cunningham used to stay.
Yes.
And did you see what he throws down?
The apple?
An apple.
Yep.
And he tells them to...
those are their rations.
Those are their rations.
For thieves.
Until the culprit is found.
Yes.
But I thought it was a potato. So I wrote potato.
Potato apple. Let's call the whole thing off.
But an apple goes back to her
special fruit that she gave him. Yes, exactly. My favorite was Guinness doesn't agree, and Edward tells him that your velvet tongue and purple cockhead doesn't make you any more than a servant.
Yeah.
I mean, get it straight, yo.
He said cockhead? Because I thought he said cock hairs.
That's what I thought, too. Thank you, closed captioning. Because I thought cock hairs, too.
And then I thought purple cock hairs.
Purple cockhead makes a lot more sense.
Speaking of purple, Mott clearly loves purple.
Speaking of purple.
Do you remember when he's riding up to the house as they're building it and all of his horses have these, like,
purple
feather...
He's got a thing for purple.
Yes.
Purple heads.
He has the greatest lines. Purple cockhead and velvet tongue.
Don't think you're velvet tongue and purple cockhead.
I want to use that. I don't know how, but I'm going to use it.
I'll find a way. Maybe at like a manager's meeting or something. I don't know. We'll see.
But Mott is very concerned about people judging it.
That's what I put. I put seems to be really afraid of being judged.
Yes.
And then he looks up and he sees the blood moon.
Yes. Okay, so then the next scene we've got Mott in bed, am I right? And then this is the Hotel California scene that you talked about.
Yep. And Dora says that night is ultimately the end for Edward Felipe Mott, and that the rest of what we know was told by Guinness, which is interesting to me.
Yeah, but I thought that comes after the scene where he's in bed and the
Well, she says that, and then it pans to him in bed.
Okay.
And then he looks up and he sees all the colonists, and then they put the sheet over him and he rips through it hotel style.
Which you're absolutely right, yes.
And then it says that Guinness actually rode away on a horse somehow, and no evidence was ever found. So he went to jail for for Edward's murder.
That came later, because before that, the colonists, after the whole bedsheet thing, the colonists do take him outside.
Yes.
And the butcher's there. And he's protests and says, this land is mine. And the butcher says, no, it's mine. I'm not even going to attempt her accent.
It's hard.
Kill him, burn him. And she explains that this land is hers. And you're exactly right. Guinness got away, but he was jailed for killing Mott. And then she says that the 1952 thing.
Well, before that, I just want to throw in there that I looked at IMDb, and it does say that Guinness is in next week's episode.
Oh, cool.
So I'm curious as to how, honestly, if we're going into the future.
Yeah.
So I don't know what that is, but and he never told them that the servants were down there. So then the police come, and then there's just nothing but like skeletal remains. It's just awful.
Yes, he doesn't tell them.
But yeah, she says the house remained in the family name for over a century, and that it was always said that madness ran in the family. But the line ended in scandal when the last Mott died in 1952
in South Florida.
So it wasn't that dandy.
So dandy.
So dandy.
We have a commercial break somewhere in there, but when you come back, you see the 911 call screen, which was super like, God, like those cheesy shows you watch on A&E and Discovery where they, like the murder profile shows.
Yeah.
But anyway, Matt's calling the cops. He needs help. He needs them to come right away. And you see the colony outside of their home. They've got their torches, as they always have their fucking torches.
Surrender yourselves, and she would give them a merciful death.
Yes, that's what the butcher says. And why can't they just go inside? Because they've been inside before. Why don't they just go inside and pull them out? I don't understand.
I feel like it's almost kind of like Michael Myers' Halloween thing. You know how he's always walking really slowly, but ends up catching up to them anyway? It's almost like, we know we have you either way. I don't need to come to you.
Okay.
Best if you just come outside and I can just chop your head off, merciful, instead of torture you. But if you don't, I'll come and get you, but it just won't be great.
Okay.
That's what I think.
Yeah, because I mean, you see scenes with the butcher. It was in the house, like when she destroyed the paintings. But I feel like that's the only time you've seen her in the house.
I think it's more of a taunting.
Okay.
Less of a haunting and more of a taunting.
Yeah. And when she says that, I believe you see the red moon in the background.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So Matt is really manning up these last couple episodes.
He really is.
I'm really proud of him.
Yep.
It's really grown up. And he tells
Proud of
Shelby,
you.
I am so proud of him.
Is he graduating from pussy to a little bit of a man?
Yeah. Yeah. I
Well,
like
you've gotten
him.
somewhere with her, Matt.
Yeah. So he tells Shelby, take my keys, get Flora out of here.
I'll create a diversion.
Yes, he's going to distract them. And Flora says she's scared, and he tells her, just be brave. And Shelby, like, grabs Flora and tells her, do not let go of me. Whatever you do not let go of me. And they go to leave. This part was really scary.
Remember I told you last week there was something random crawling up the wall?
Yeah, what this is... Okay. It doesn't really fit with what's been going on.
At all. Whatsoever.
So as they're leaving, scary Asian girl
It's like straight out of a Japanese horror movie, like The Ring or Grudge. Or,
The Grudge.
Yeah.
I'm so glad you said that, because I wrote, like, the Asian Japanese movie. I couldn't remember what it was called. It's totally grudgy. Mm-hmm. And a little exorcisty, but definitely The Grudge is
It definitely had, like, the Japanese horror movie film feel to it.
Yeah, and none of the other people... And I thought it was the Chen girl. Ooh, ouch. I thought it was the Chen girl. Are we assuming it's the Chen girl?
I at first thought it might be, but I don't think it is. And what really bothers me is it was never really explained for the rest of the episode. Do you know what I mean? Like nothing,
why does she get to have this weird crawly spider superpower?
like that was just so like rando.
I know why.
Why?
Because she fell down the stairs and all of her bones...
But she never died though. She didn't die from that, remember?
Right.
So I don't know.
They were like, look, Asian girls are super creepy when their black hair is in their face. Let's give her some baby powder.
Turn that neck around.
Put her, Put her in there.
She crab walks.
Yeah, like
around the house.
Creepy, spidery crab walk with weird sounds that go with it, like weird, like squidgy, scratchy sounds. Like
It was just so random. I was waiting for the commercial to come and a new Japanese horror film to be a commercial, and they were just tying that in, just like the Ouija movie and the Blair Witch movie.
I'm such a sucker though. Whatever that is, whatever that.
Oh, it's terrifying.
Yes,
It's
can't wrap my head-
terrifying.
Anytime they do it in any movie, even if it's the dumbest movie in the world, when they make they make the
Contort.
bodies like that.
Yes.
Oh, it gives
Ugh.
me the chills, and the sound effects with it. Oh.
Yeah, I didn't like it.
Anyway, so she jumps on Flora like a little spider monkey.
Mm-hmm. Like one of those slime things that you have that you like throw forward and it comes back up, except she had Flora this time.
She's taking her with her big crabby spider movements and clicky sounds. But Shelby is chasing this aberration, and she finds Flora, and you see the Asian creepy crawly girl going up
the wall.
And her head was like down by her vagina and all this jazz.
It's very Cirque du Soleil.
It was very scary. Yes. And she's like on the side of the wall, very hermit crabbity. And I thought, oh, it seems like she's been frightened off. Well, I think that she was frightened off because immediately after Pigman is there.
Yeah, and what's so funny is Shelby looks down at her arm and she has like this insane like Indian rug burn.
Yeah,
like on her
the
hand.
mark. Yeah, the bruising.
Yep.
Which is again like one of those movies. I can't remember which one.
I know what you're talking about. Was it The Grudge?
Yeah, I think
Maybe.
it was.
Something like that. I don't know. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, like, everyone came out of nowhere, and then they slowly realized that they're pretty much just being cornered like animals for an easy slaughter.
And they do mention that the butcher, her tactic is that she uses her victim's fear of her to get them to do her bidding.
Yes.
Which is interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Mott appears.
Yes.
Clearly dead.
It was, I mean, I even have a note that says the post-productions on his facial effects were so cool. Did you notice, like, every time he would, like, turn around slightly or something?
Look skeletal.
It would almost look like a Japanese horror movie where the whole face went white and there's a huge blacks under the eyes, and it looked very grudgy. That all kind of happened at once, but I loved how they did that. I've never seen that kind of done in a show.
I find myself accepting more of this stuff. Normally I would say that doesn't make sense. Why is that now happening when this has been very, very much different, the theme, the feel of it? But now, knowing how... I feel like I'm giving them a free ride, now knowing how much time and energy they put into each little detail.
Yes.
I'd love to know, okay, so what's the tie-in with that?
Yeah, there has to be.
Right, because nothing is ever just thrown in there extraneously.
Yeah, I was a little angry towards the end of the episode where I'm like, where's the explanation for this rando Japanese horror girl? But I feel like you said, ultimately,
There's got
to be something there.
Right.
So,
anyway, but Mott appears to them and he's going to help them escape.
they don't have time to worry if it's legit. They just go with him.
Yes. And he takes them into these underground tunnels that he had built underneath
For
the
his
home.
paintings.
Is that what he said?
Yeah, at the beginning, he said that if kidnappers come, because the artwork was worth more than all of the tobacco farms surrounding combined, that he needed a place for them to be able to escape.
No, I thought it was for all his male child rapings.
No, he would just do that, out in the open. But the paintings.
But while they are in the tunnel, exactly what you just said, when the candlelight would flicker, his face would change.
Cool. I
was
loved
cool.
it so much.
It was very cool. And he basically tells them that he's really only helping them, saving them, because he wants his precious solitude. And what with everyone else being on the grounds, all these spirits, he could hardly suffer 3 more souls.
Yes.
Which I find him so funny.
I know.
He's so funny, all these lines.
I did love the line, though, that he says that the living cling to life above all, but the trophy misprized is to die in peace. The look on his face, it almost made me feel sad for him. I'm like, oh, poor little fucked up man. Because he's not right in the head, but what Mott is.
I know, but at least there's something endearing about this Mott.
Fun fact, they're actually the Mott family from the apple juice.
No.
You're right, no, but that would be cool.
That is a good tie-in.
That would be a great tie-in.
The Motts, Sue, Ryan, and Brad.
All of a sudden,
you're using our apples.
It cuts to commercial, and it's nothing but Mott's apple juice commercials.
So now we have 3 PSAs. We have 1, they hate SeaWorld, they hate child abductions, and Mott Applesauce uses GMO products.
Just loves it.
Now we know.
That's it.
Oh.
Okay, so he takes them into the woods, but then pretty much leaves them there without any light.
He's like, this is as far as I care to go.
He's like, yeah, you know what? I'm done with this. And I'm done with you guys. And then leaves them, and without the light, they feel more like prey.
I think that he seems very Johnny Depp-esque.
Yes.
Pirates of the Caribbean. What do you think?
Oh, his mannerisms and stuff?
Everything.
Yeah, I can see that.
The whole shtick.
I can see that.
Seems very Johnny Depp.
I love me some Evan Peters.
I think he did a great job, but that's what it reminded me of.
My favorite quote I found on Twitter was, normally I call him daddy, but tonight he's my founding father.
About Evan Peters?
With his wig.
Oh.
I liked it.
I'm not attracted to him. He looks so young to me.
He's our age.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, he looks so young.
I hope so.
You hope he's our age?
Because if I have to go do housekeeping to talk about how old I am next week, I really don't want to do that. So,
of course, they're back in the woods, as usual. And they talk about how they're basically prey because the people that they are fearing thrive in the darkness. And like you said,
yeah,
they're in the darkness. And then go ahead.
Well, then Flora sees a light, and all of a sudden they hear pigs, and then out of nowhere, burlap sacks over their head. Cut to commercial.
I love the I didn't think this was particularly scary when the sacks are thrown over their head.
No.
Adam was in bed with me, and he jumped.
Really?
He jumped. It was so funny. I was like, did you just jump? Yeah.
That's the part you jump at? Not everything before that, but he's like,
But right before that, right before they go to commercial break, you do get to see the house. They're they're in the woods, but they're right in front of the house.
Yes.
And we find out later what house that is.
We do. Stay tuned.
Stay tuned. So we're going to take a break here.
Yep.
All right. See you in a little bit, little buddies. If you've been following our American Horror Story podcast, you know that Kristin and I are in a desperate situation. There is the very real possibility that we will both have to eat pigtail. As the odds continue to tip against us, I thought it only appropriate to learn a bit more about the curly little tailed animal we'll be eating. Excuse me while I gag. Anyway, that's why I'm listening to Lesser Beasts, a snout-to-tail history of the humble pig by Mark Essig, an in-depth look at and history of one of our most important food animals, better or for worse. And how it has been a staple of civilization since its beginning. I will say, though, the history lesson on the amazing animal that is pig only makes it harder to stomach the idea of eating part of it, especially the cute part. If you haven't already, go to www.audible.com/boobtubebuddies for your free 30-day trial. And don't forget the www in the beginning. Discover something new, like the extreme feeling of guilt paired with disgust I have at what I'm about to do. Oh, and Kristin? Yes, you may have honey mustard for dipping.
Okay!
Back from commercial break.
Chugging
Hope
a
you
couple
enjoyed
beers.
that Audible ad. If you listen to it, you'll know that I cannot stop thinking about us having to eat a pigtail.
It's definitely in the back of my mind.
Speaking of pigtails, we return and they are at the house where they found the Pharaoh boys sucking on the teat of the pig.
Yes.
The Polk's home. And Shelby and Matt, was Flora there?
This is the real Polk County.
They're in some sort of shed, and they have been taken by the Polks. The Polks were the ones that grabbed them.
Yeah.
And the Polks have their guns pointed at the Millers.
Mm-hmm.
And Elias is there.
On the table.
But he's alive. And they say that they
Ish.
found... oh, I know. And they say that they found him with holes all in him, but Mama fixed him up right.
Mm-hmm.
And the dumb Polk brother repeating everything.
Chaz? You mean the fucking parrot in the room?
Yeah, Chaz
Yes.
Bono is just repeating everything the older brother, or the other brother says, which is funny.
Yeah, and then Matt walks up to Elias and says, they're all crazy. Get out before she comes. Mama took my leg.
Elias says they're all crazy. Yeah, Mama took my leg, and he says it twice while he's crying. And this is all very Texas Chainsaw Massacre-y to me, right?
She was such a perfect casting for this role.
And then Mama enters.
Yes. Oh, so good. I don't know why. I love Evan Peters, but I got super excited when she came into this episode.
She's amazing.
She's incredible, and such a good role for her. I loved it so much.
And we're talking about, of course, Frances Conroy.
Yes. And it's so funny that right before we came back from break, I told you to start, and then I will feed off of you.
Yeah.
Speaking of.
Yeah, she offers them jerkies to the Millers. And
then they're big
Elias,
jerkies and say no.
Yeah. How rude to deny the food when she offers them hospitality. Elias shouts like, "Don't eat it!" They decline. And again, Mama calls them rude. And then so she takes a bite of the jerky and spits it out and says like, "Shit, it's rancid."
I like my meat sweet.
I didn't hear her say that.
Yeah, well, yeah.
So she refers to Elias as spoilt. Which, did you hear? Spoilt?
Yep, he's spoiled. No
meat.
reason to keep him alive.
Yeah, no reason to keep him alive. And brutally smashes him in the face and kills him.
Hammer time.
I know. So very, very Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Very too legit to quit.
She tells them about the deal that was made with the butcher, and
over 200 years ago, her kin made this.
Yes, that the Polks would help provide blood for the sacrifice. The Millers should never have bought that house. Mm-hmm. But basically, it allows the Polks to be left alone and to grow their cannabis crop. Am I right? Is that what she said? Cannabis?
Yep. She said that their area has like the largest cannabis crop.
Then why are they having to eat human meat if they've got this amazing cannabis crop? Why is this going on?
Why would you eat a bunch of cannabis? I mean, you could, but then you just get hungrier.
No, I mean the money from the cannabis.
Oh. I'm like, why would you eat a bunch of weed? You're just going to be hungrier.
The money from the cannabis. They're eating humans.
Well, they don't seem like the brightest clan in the world.
I wish they were a little bit more chill, like Pineapple Express chill. You know?
Yeah, well, maybe if they would start utilizing their cannabis crop.
Yeah, they don't really
They
know what
might be a
cannabis
little
is.
more chill.
They're using it to like as like hemp to sew clothes. Like, no.
Here,
This
try
is a
my
drug.
lotion. And also, I've got some arm jerky in the fridge.
So Shelby and Matt are trying to reason with them to let them go, that they won't tell anyone.
Oh, and then when she's like, she says, why are you telling us all this? Because you ain't going to tell anyone.
Yeah.
That, like, made my skin crawl. Ugh.
And Mama does get worked up and yells, like, you took away our babies.
Mm-hmm. And you know what I'm wondering is if those two feral kids were, like, what if, okay, just stay with me here, this might be crazy, but what if...
You think they're Shelby's babies and I win.
Scanhawks.
Oh, okay.
Scanhawks and Chaz Bono, like, maybe she had sex, because the only words they knew how to scream was Croatoan. Mm-hmm. I don't know, maybe there's something there, maybe there's not, but
yeah, maybe there's
I like to build a theory out of anything with this show, so...
Yeah, they could be. How could they be her babies? Anyway, but Mama, no deal. She's not giving them freedom. She's bringing all three of them to the butcher as promised.
Yep, and Shelby says, she didn't want to be at the Polks, but there's only one place scarier there than that, which is her own house.
Mm-hmm. Commercial break, you come back, and we're interviewing Lee, and Lee's saying this is all Shelby's fault, and she's referring to her being in jail. Shelby called the cops because she implicated me in, what's his name? Mason's murder.
Yeah.
But she's been a cop, so she knows they can only hold her for 48 hours, and that they took every minute of questioning her to try and catch her in an inconsistency. And I love the quote that she says.
Which one?
She says, like Mark Twain said, if you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything. And I felt like, okay, so she is innocent.
Well, why, though?
For sure. What?
See, I still...
You think she killed Mason?
I don't know. She says, like, how am I going to put him... Well, she doesn't say this, but this is how I quoted it. How am I going to put him on that pentagram by myself? Or
she says that.
Well, she says, how I'm going to put him up there, and he says, well, maybe not by yourself. We will get back to that as to what I mean by that.
Okay. Anyway, they have to release her because the 48 hours are up, and she has... They can't charge her with anything. She talks about how she has all these texts on her phone, but the only one that mattered was the one from Matt that said that they had Flora.
They had Flora, yeah.
The next scene, the Millers are in
Chaz Polk has a shotgun.
They're in the bed of the truck. The shotgun is right at them as the other brother drives. Mom is in the passenger seat. And Matt, all of a sudden, this fucking badass says he just needs a moment. And he grabs the gun out of Chaz Bono's hand.
Mm-hmm.
And eventually... wrangles it around.
I really thought like one of them was gonna get shot. Like
Shelby or
yes, I thought they were just gonna pull some crazy shit on us and like it was just gonna
anything's possible. But the gun goes off and shoots the brother that's driving the truck right in the head.
That was crazy.
And then Shelby kicks Chaz Bono out of the truck. And
then the most logical thing in the entire world happens. They don't steal the truck, and they would rather take their chances in the woods than get slaughtered by pigs. Of course.
What good has ever come out of them going into the woods? Why would he say that? Why wouldn't he go pull Mama out, push her on the ground?
That's what we thought.
Get in the goddamn truck and drive away.
Why did they not get in the truck? I would pull that damn headless body out. I don't care. I would lap seize that fucking dead body if it meant I could drive the fuck away.
Right.
So.
Again with this shit? Not to quote Impractical Jokers, but again with this shit.
Seriously.
Again with this shit. So clearly, things aren't going so great in the woods. They're crouching in the woods because they can tell someone is near. And just like what happened to me, Matt's fucking phone goes off like the bozo he is. And
and then all of a sudden, Bethany turns around and I have a shotgun to her face. Just like 5 minutes ago.
It was Lee, so he did what I did and scrolled to try to end the call, but it's too late. It vibrated. Yep. Everyone heard it. Chaz finds them. And then Lee says something bad is definitely happening for Matt to ignore her call.
Yes.
There's no way he would do that, especially knowing he has Flora. So she tells the officer she needs a lift.
Mm-hmm.
So we're back at the truck. Chaz has gotten them back to the truck. Mama is not... She gets out of the truck. Not happy.
She gets out of the truck, and first thing I notice, their interior is the same interior that our friend Jamie has in her car.
Really?
And that matches my steering wheel. Polks shop at Walmart too, folks. Because it is the exact same seat covers as Jamie has and the steering wheel covered. We both have.
What's going on with the American Horror Story budget?
Well, no, they're really staying true to form.
Oh,
Instead of getting
true.
some schmancy interior,
Yes, you're right.
we shop at Walmart to cover our leather.
Yeah, so you're basically saying you and the Polks are the same. You, Jamie, and the Polks.
One and the same.
Mama's upset. You killed my son. You took my babies. She tells them that they're not going to run off again. She has Chaz take Flora to the truck because no child should watch this. And they sort of give you the...
I love that, like, immediate moment, like...
She's going to die here soon anyway.
You know what? I eat people, I kill people, but this child should not watch this.
No child should see this.
Nope.
And so you assume she's going to kill them or kill one of them. And Shelby's begging her to not kill Matt.
And she agrees. She's like, you know what? You're right. I won't.
No. And then she fucking shatters Shelby's ankle.
Grossest thing ever.
How gruesome was that?
You know what? My immediate reaction was ew. And then my second reaction is, throughout this entire episode, fuck, I love their makeup artist and their special effects team. Oh, they've done so well this season. I'm sorry. Makeup artists and special effects team on American Horror Story, you've done incredibly mind-blowingly well.
And well, you love that stuff. You have
I
an
do love
appreciation
that.
for that.
I really do. Jason's like, I can't watch this. Ugh. And I'm like, I can't take my eyes off it. This is incredible makeup. How do they do this? I mean, like, it looks so awesome.
And she says, you ain't running again.
Yep. Matt has never felt more useless, and Shelby doesn't really remember anything after that.
I would think, really, Matt, you've never felt more useless? Because I can
name about 10 times where you were pretty freaking useless.
Then, so they're in the bed in the truck, and I didn't really like that they were breathing into each other's mouths.
Oh, see, I got really, like, heart twisted about this moment. Like, it seemed really scary. Like, when they're like, yes, I hate heavy breathing. I hate any kind of mouth breathers of any fucking form. But
no, this just goes to show how sweet you and your husband still are. And I'm like, ugh.
Oh, no, I just,
breathing
like,
right in my face.
I remember having my hands, like I'm doing right now, both of my hands, like, on my cheeks, like,
oh.
You know, actually, it's the exact look you had when watching the strippers in Vegas.
Like, oh my, like this worried look on my face, like what's happening?
Very worried of what's happening. Like, it just felt so... It felt like a very real moment of being terrified. It wasn't very movie-like. It was just very real. Like, okay, this is over. It's over. I love you. like...
Maybe...
I hated it.
I agree. I actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I don't know if Cuba and Sarah Paulson have super great chemistry.
Well, they don't. That's why.
Yeah.
I mean, and also, if you're a fan of Ryan Murphy, you just spent a whole season watching them against each other.
Oh, yeah.
So, it's... And like you said, sometimes... Now, with these shows and his shows, it's not even about the character, it's about the actor.
Right.
So, seeing them together throws you off a little.
Yeah.
Now, if it's the guy who played Christopher Darden that's now in This Is Us, I totally would have bought it.
Shelby tells Matt he must save Flora. Like, it's like she's given... Well, he says he's given up. And he's just trying to enjoy the last few moments with her. And when that truck stops, it's all over. And the truck does stop back at their house. And the colony is out in front with torches. And they are basically waiting on their arrival. Mm-hmm. And when you come back from a commercial break, we've got interview Shelby, Broccoli Rob, saying, you know, there was so much more she wanted to do before she died. She wanted to become a mom. She wanted to grow old with Matt. She wanted to open her own yoga studio.
That literally, but their time was up.
Right.
That was literally the moment I was like, is this bitch about to stand up with a fucking belly? I was so worried. I'm like, no, don't do it. Couple times, actually, I was.
Mama goes up to the butcher, and actually, this was kind of a nice moment. The butcher empathizes with Mama over the loss of her son.
Oh,
nice.
God. 'Tis a mother's burden to suffer the birth of a babe, but all agony pales when placed in measure with the cold death of a child. Ugh.
Did that get you?
Of course it did. Doesn't matter how it's presented to me any longer.
You're
what show?
wreck.
What am I? I'm just a wreck. That's what motherhood does to you. It turns you into an effing wreck when the butcher said something to Mama Polk, and I'm like, like, it's just awful. Sorry.
No, that's funny. They leave, and the butcher and her flackies grab... That's what they are.
No, I liked it.
They grab Flora, and Priscilla yells, "But you promised she'd be last." And I really love...
Now she goeth first.
Yes, and I kind of love the way she turned to Priscilla, like, super kind of, like, snotty, bratty.
Like, na.
Yeah. And Flora is screaming as they drag her over to the fire. Mm-hmm. And you can see on the other side of this, Lee has arrived in the cop car. She gets out. She can hear something's going on. She tells the cop he better call for backup. And he hightails it out of there.
Bye.
Yeah, what was that?
I think they know what the fuck kind of goes on there. Can't explain it. Listen, this is just a part of Roanoke I stay away from.
I'm hearing myself, and I just want to apologize for my Donald Trump snorting and sniffing. My allergies are really bad, so...
That's the story we came up with before we started this.
This is the 4 lines of Coke I did right before we... No, it's allergies. I took a Zyrtec. It's not working.
Allergies.
These allergies are worse than getting burned and killed by the butcher, I'd swear.
Preach.
So the butcher's about to kill Flora, and then her son, Ambrosia...
She starts doing the blood moon chant.
Yes.
We consecrate this blood for my land. This is my land.
All of a sudden, he's got a fucking conscience.
Loves it. Knocks her the fuck out.
I know. I liked it,
Good old ambrosia salad.
Yes, it always comes to the rescue at the end of any kind of party.
Yep. So if we ever have an American Horror Story Roanoke party, we're definitely serving pigtails, ambrosia salad, and broccoli rabe.
Oh, with the little marshmallows on top.
Yeah, and instead of Cuban sandwiches, can we make Cuba sandwiches?
Ooh, I like it.
Oh, we're having a party. That's
this is good.
That's all the food we're going to eat after we eat the pigtails, just to make up for it.
Unfortunately, the only beverage we have is boxed white Zin.
I'm going to have stuffed Shelby's.
Ooh, you're so much better at this than me. He hits her and drags her into the fire with him. It's very biblical. Because he doesn't want any more lives lost, I guess, is the feeling.
I really love the quiet yet very, this is what we're doing decisions by Ambrosia over these seasons. Like, silent, silent, no, silent, silent, no. Like, he really, I mean, you didn't expect it, Kathy Bates.
Too bad this didn't happen hundreds of years ago.
Well, yeah, and also, is that what it took? Just throwing her in the fire?
Apparently not.
Well, oh, really?
Oh. So Mott appears. He's so...
With some applesauce. We're obviously going to serve Mott's applesauce at our party.
What was that Nickelodeon show? Like, what would you do? Or don't say that word when the...
What would you do?
Yes. This applesauce. He spills it all over.
That's what the slime tasted like, remember? We hail from Central Florida, so we could go to the Nickelodeon studios when they still existed in Orlando. And you could try the slime. Oh, no, it tasted like tapioca.
I never tasted the slime. I grew up a poor child. I didn't get to go to Universal, like, bougie child like you.
Oh, yeah, I'm so bougie.
Anyway, Applesauce Mott unties Shelby and Matt, and he's like, "Make your grand escape."
I loved that part.
I did too.
He's just so... I love the drama in Evan Peters in every
too.
season.
Which is funny coming from me since I complained about Cricket, but I really liked this character.
But he's a whole other beast. Well, I have a question. Did you like his H.H. Holmes, James March character?
I think I really like Evan Peters. I like everything he does.
He's good. You know what's interesting? I was watching a bunch of the Paley Fests and like all those panels they do.
Uh-huh.
I was telling Jason about this the other day. What's interesting is 2 years in a row, they introduced a new character when they were going to introduce Cheyenne Jackson. And then I can't remember the other, Lady Gaga maybe. I don't remember. What's interesting is these people came out, not Lady Gaga, it was Cheyenne Jackson and I think...
Matt Bomer.
Matt Bomer, thank you. Both times they came out onto the panel, they gave Kathy Bates, Jessica Lange, Sarah Paulson, all of them, even Dennis O'Hare, hugs. And they literally just barely shook Evan Peters' hands. Both of them. Separate panels. And he was like right in the middle. So
weird.
Hug. handshake, yeah, whatever, bro, and then went to the next person. I found that really telling for some reason.
Well,
I don't believe it. I love you, Evan Peters.
Clearly he brings women to beat the shit out of him, so he must be doing something wrong. Anyway, Pigman, this is all going on. Pagman, it's for Flora. He's going for Flora. Lee runs him over with the cop car.
Yeah, but here's my thing is, if the butcher's dead, that's why I said I was going to come back to this. If the butcher's dead, or assumingly dead, why did the Pigman go after Flora if they're her people? Is it like Stockholm Syndrome, or is there something more to it?
Right. Well, and I wrote this down too. So Ambrosia takes out the butcher, but the rest of the colonists are just standing around and they're confused. They don't know what to do. But yeah, Pigman. Yes.
Why did Pigman go after Flora if, quote, the person who's making him do these bad things is understandably dead or whatever, or in the middle of being taken over, or
I agree with you.
Why the hell did he still go after Flora?
I don't know. Maybe because we don't know we know who Pigman is. We know that she killed him. I don't know.
But we don't know who it is, I guess. Well, I thought at the beginning of the season it was just a thief that they ended up putting on a pig spit and putting a head on. But I thought that was really weird. I was like, wait, if your scary leader is gone, then why are you still going after the little girl?
I know. It is weird.
So, and I chalked it up to Stockholm Syndrome, but
maybe
we'll find out.
Well, either way, Lee hits them with their car, and they're able to escape. But as they're escaping, the butcher crawls out of the fire and is chasing after them in the car.
Yeah.
Next scene, we've got interview Matt, and he's saying we're so lucky to be alive. We can't explain any of it. And the two of them, Shelby and Matt, are just so grateful to be alive. They only have money basically for a motel room and a carry-out pizza until Shelby's sister can wire them money so they can get back to LA. But
okay, so they say this, and I have no proof whatsoever. So this is there's nothing behind this. It's just a random guess. So she says that she had her sister wire her money from LA. Mm-hmm. Now I understand that in season 1, Vivian Harmon's sister was named Jo. Okay, so, and I know her name's Shelby. Who knows if Joe's a nickname? What if her sister is Vivian Harmon?
Oh. Maybe there's a third sister.
I have nothing to prove that goes behind this, but the moment she said that my sister wired me money from LA,
you thought of...
I was like, wait, if we could tie it, maybe, who knows? I don't know.
Very interesting. Huh.
And I looked at her necklace, and it does look like
S.
a J.
Oh, I thought it was an S.
Is it?
I thought it was an S and an M for Shelby. S and M. Ooh, Shelby and Matt.
See, I thought it was a J. It's definitely not clear still. I wanted to come to this podcast tonight and be like, it is a J, and she is Joe. But
that would have been cool.
Yeah, well, it'll still be cool if it's right in the future.
Maybe she's Shelby Joe.
Maybe she's Shelby Joe.
Shelby wants to shower. Her and Matt have a really sweet kind of moment where they kiss, and then there's another sweet moment where Matt eats the pizza and asks Flora, did you save me?
Why did she stop, though?
Stop what?
Remember, he goes, Flora, and then that moment she kind of stops, like something bad's about to happen, and then he said, did you save me a piece of pizza? And she smiles, and then she goes to the shower door. That might not be anything. I just, like I told you, anything that slightly throws me off, I'm curious as to why.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe she's hypersensitive to anything.
Yeah.
Anyway, she goes to the shower door and mist, it could be steam, but mist comes out from underneath the door.
Very good call.
Which we talked about mist possibly being the next.
Yeah, no, it's didn't even think about that.
She opens the door and then there's the butcher on fire with the cleaver and she chops at Shelby. Shelves wakes up. Yep. It was a nightmare. She says that she still has that nightmare. She is not over this experience, and she's not sure if she ever will be. And that's the end of the show? I didn't love that ending.
Yeah, I didn't.
So that's it. Is it over? Is Roanoke over? What, like...
Okay, so next week on... Okay, so normally we do this at the start of the episode, but we're switching it up a little bit, just like American Horror Story likes to. Let's clink to our drink.
We're just as good as you, Brad and Ryan.
We like to throw shit off. Clink, clink. Well,
they're cans.
They're cans.
I'm cheap this week.
We went like the Pulse tonight.
Yeah, we're in character. Mm-hmm. I call Chaz.
I call Mama. You fucking get.
Oh, god damn it.
Yeah, I mean.
Why did I call Chaz?
I don't know. But, okay, so next week on, you didn't watch it, right? Okay.
I did.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, I wanted to see what was going to happen. And next week on was about 3 seconds long.
The camera never stops. Even if I say stop rolling, do not stop.
That's what Cheyenne says.
Yes. Okay, so I have some thoughts and theories. How about you?
I don't.
Okay.
I have no thoughts.
Okay,
ever.
so, well, my thoughts, where was Scanhawk? Where was Lady Gaga in all of this? If this was going to tie the rest of it together, where the hell was she? Yeah. Like, why wouldn't they? The only remote mention of her was Mama Polk saying, I would kill you right now, but she wants you alive.
But I thought she was referring to the butcher.
Why would the butcher want him alive? Because maybe Scanhawk wants...
When the moon is out, is Scanhawk gone? If the red moon is out, is Scanhawk gone?
I don't know if she's gone. I don't think she's gone because I think last week the blood moon started and that's when they had sex.
Maybe she was out of tampons. She ran up to the Walgreens.
Probably.
Heavy flow?
Heavy flow. Must be. I mean... See, I think the whole period thing runs around Kathy Bates because she's just such a fucking bitch the whole time.
Yeah, I agree.
So, I'm pretty sure Scanhawk doesn't get her period.
Scanhawk is pregnant, and like the freak she is, the baby's growing at a nominal rate, like
exactly
the vampire movies.
So here's my question. I have a bunch of questions from the end. Where was Lady Gaga? Really, who the fuck was the Japanese horror movie? Because the Chens were Taiwanese. And I did double check, and not one of those actresses that played any of the Chens were marked as the Japanese girl.
Well, how do we know she's Japanese? I just said Japanese.
Because I say Japanese because the style they use, the exact style, come from Japanese horror films.
I know, but where's Taiwan in reference to Japanese? Japanese, Taiwanese,
I refuse to answer
look
that.
At these.
Nice. I refuse to answer that. What ends up happening to Flora? Because they still talk about her like she's dead.
Flora's eating pizza. You're welcome.
Well, no, that was the end of this. Well, we don't know if that was the end because do you notice how no matter what episode it's been, when they talk about Flora, they get really choked up. Like, I still think something maybe happened to Flora after the fact. I don't know. We'll see.
Okay.
I want to know what ends up happening to Flora because all these stories, I mean, I know she's a little girl, but we don't know how much time has passed since all this happened to them. Is she grown up enough to tell her own story? Is she just still a little girl and they don't want to film her?
I think what happens is they get back to LA, they're poor, they're in a bad neighborhood, she gets mixed up in the wrong crowd.
And then all of a sudden,
gang,
yep.
She's like straight out of Precious. That's what I think happens.
Compton affects everyone.
Yeah.
Now here's the question I really want you to answer.
I'm not going to have any answers.
Well, you might. Okay, so Lee got away from the cops. Okay? What did she do during those 4 hours?
She said she was looking for Flora.
That likely fucking story. That doesn't prove anything. Where do they have the proof that she was looking for Flora?
You have no faith.
They have no alibi for that. Okay, so I have a reason why.
I think that you're being a little bit R-word.
No.
Trying to push it off on you.
Nope. Nice try. Like, that's the second time in a row. Where are Taiwanese in relation?
It's not Taiwanese.
Why do you think that?
It's Taiwan.
I said Taiwanese people. I know that the country's not called Taiwanese.
You're using your ignorance to your benefit.
Always do.
No, you're right. There's definitely some questions.
Well, the reason is here's a new theory. I'm always going to come up with a new theory.
Yeah.
Matt, Shelby, and Lee are actually telling a huge fucking monster of a lie to cover up the real ways that Mason and Cricket died and why Flora turned up missing.
Ooh. What did they do?
I don't know. But what I'm saying is what if this is all bullshit and all these people died really because of them.
I'm nodding my head really slowly, but this is very compelling.
Do you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
That's why I'm like, no, Lee, I'm sorry, but I could say that I was looking for somebody in the floor. Anybody could say that. Like, where's your proof?
Yeah,
you need a solid alibi.
Questions, for sure.
Yeah. So that I
get
find...
the feeling these cops don't really care about proof, though.
Exactly. You're right. But that could be something very interesting where it's actually more of a true crime thing than a supernatural thing.
So what do you think about next week's episode? Do you think, like what you had previously said, that it's the burgeoning of something new now?
Yes.
That we're moving into a new phase of this season?
Another thing that I'm thinking is that the reason we did not see Lady Gaga, we'll find out next week, and that maybe Matt and Shelby actually are working with her. And she might actually have them under some sort of like a spell of sorts or whatever. And they were meant to leave the farmhouse and get away with it to tell their story. And in episode 6, they're going to return with a film crew.
Oh.
But instead of going there for the sole purpose of filming for the haunting show, Matt and Shelby are actually bringing them as a sacrifice.
Wow. I like that.
So those are some new theories that maybe that's why you did not see Lady Gaga. Maybe, like, secretly they made some pact with her. Who knows?
I like it. Those are really cool.
So we'll see. I don't know. And hopefully next week.
Shelby's magical, and she's knocked up.
And we have we're a little more caffeinated.
All right, we ready to end this?
I'm never ready to end this.
Oh, well,
let's just sit here in silence for the next 3 hours.
Until next week. Good night, little buddies.
Good night, little buddies.